So it feels like every day that we keep getting worse and worse news under Trump and Musk, but we have some good news. And what is that?
You can rent a chicken
Yeah, so if you're feeling down, rent a chicken.
in your backyard.
For real. Actually, I didn't even know this was a thing. I guess it's like $100 a month to rent a chicken.
Yeah,
Uh,
100 for 6 months? I don't know.
yeah, it's $100 a month, and then maybe you maybe have to do it for 6 months or something like that. Basically, Easter's coming up, and there's an egg shortage in USA. I was seeing.
And there is a
what's
bird
that?
flu.
Yep, there's a bird flu. That's part of the egg shortage.
And I think European they reject the more. It's not gonna, the export their eggs to America.
Yeah, because Trump's not making any friends in Europe, and they're just like, fine, you don't get our eggs. So, so I guess the USA is getting eggs from Turkey, Korea, or you could just simply what?
I don't know.
Rent a chicken.
Rent a chicken from your backyard.
We don't work for rent a chicken or anything like that. I just saw. I think it's freaking hilarious. This is the crazy surreal world that we're in. What's going on right now, and this makes it really hard to talk about these things, is there's a lot of people just very unhappy with the system, and they feel like, okay, the only way to fix the system is just to destroy everything. So that's sort of the people who voted for Trump and Musk.
I'm not happy, so you cannot be happy, so I'm going to destroy all.
Yeah, and we had a similar thing happen over the weekend to where, so Musk and his DOGE, group, they're trying to get our data through Social Security, like our addresses, our incomes, our disability issues. The judge said, no data for you, right?
But they're gonna listen?
Who knows? So the person who's one of the Trump people in Social Security, he's like, well, if DOGE can't have data, then none of us can have data. I'm going to turn the system off. So it was what you said, where like,
yeah, you can't have it. Then I can't have it, so you can't have it.
Yeah, then none of us will have it, and that's, I don't know. There's a group of people like out there that just kind of want to burn everything down. It's strange to me. I'll give you an example. So the IRS. So Trump and Musk, they're saying, hey, we want to fire people in the IRS. Who needs tax collection, I guess. That came out in the Washington Post today. They're predicting they're going to collect 10% less in taxes this year.
Oh, so they're easier to cheat, probably.
Right, because you have less people to check, right? And so like that's something that people aren't talking about enough. It's kind of a reality if you want to run the system for any number of things, right? You need to collect money.
Collect money, and plus they fired a bunch of people. They get tax from
Oh, right. You're firing people so that you lose tax revenue that way, and then people know that like there's not going to be enough tax people to come collect it, so they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to cheat more this year. The people who are more likely to do the cheating stuff are going to be like, it's just frankly the wealthier people or business people, because they kind of know how to play the system.
Yeah, but they cut the tax of the wealthy people, right?
Oh, right. So you have that. Yeah. So you have lower taxes and cut taxes for wealthier people. Plus, they're more likely to know how to cheat the system, to be perfectly frank. They can hide money in Jamaica or hide money in Ireland or any of that kind of thing. So you have that. Everything that we got going on is they just announced they want to cut, this is Trump and Musk, they want to cut 10% of the SEC.
What is SEC?
So that's the Securities and Exchange, I think it's Exchange, I'm pretty sure. Securities Exchange Commission. They handle like the stock market. So cut regulation of the stock market, so you're going to have more basically rich people gaming the system, is how we call it.
So they can hide your money there more.
Hide your money, insider trading,
and
right?
No tax.
That kind of stuff. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So it actually is not great for our system, because the more people you cut, the easier it is for people to cheat the system. You collect less money, and more services that people need get cut. You have to understand that we're all in this together. Let me give you an example. So a lot of times people don't think about this, and this is where it gets complicated. So a city needs jobs, right? So let's say you live in, it doesn't matter, city A, okay? City A needs jobs, and they tell a company like Amazon, use the Amazon example, because there was a time, do you know The Bachelor, that show, The Bachelor?
Yeah, I remember.
And they always fight for the final rose, right? So the joke was Amazon was trying to search for a second headquarters, and all the cities were vying for the final rose, right?
Yeah.
And so what you do is you offer them like tax breaks, right? Come to my city, we'll no tax for you. We'll help you
We
build.
build a road.
Yeah.
We build a school for you.
All that kind of stuff. So the issue becomes, I just want you to understand how we're all connected. So yes, Amazon would give people jobs in the area, but shouldn't Amazon say also pay taxes to help pay for the new fire, to help pay for that school that you just said about? Because yes, the city could theoretically
provide everything.
Yeah, theoretically, but then you're giving way too much benefit to the business, right? So yes, they're giving jobs, but you have to understand there's a balance in this stuff, and this is where like our whole system, if you understand the American system, a lot of it, and you could argue since Reagan on, or I mean, it's gone on a long time, but a lot of it's driven by the stock market, right? Because people are all about pumping up profits for companies, then your stock goes up. And if it's all about profit, then suddenly you're looking for ways to benefit companies more and more and more. But this is where you get this system to where like
Kind of the balance.
Yeah. So one of the things I really dislike about USA, and it's not just USA, in many countries around the world, and I want to hear if you're watching from a different country, like your experience, but just too many Walmarts buying out all of the little stores.
Yeah,
right. We have the same kind of thing here, right?
We call that like gentrification.
Well, it's a similar issue. It's a similar issue,
It's a
right?
small town, and it gets popular with the small, independent shop. But later, then all the big company come.
Right, and just buy up the whole block. So here in Korea, we still have a lot of mom and pop stores, but it is difficult. During COVID, and it wasn't just Korea, but many countries around the world. Many of the little stores struggled the most, right? And then the big stores even grew even more powerful. What's that?
And now even bigger stores, they're struggle too.
Oh yeah. So we talked about it before, guys. We have two big grocery store chains here in Korea. One is Emart. The other one is Home Plus. Yeah, and Home Plus is maybe
they start closing, and Foot Locker in Korea.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Closed, and the Gap in Korea, they're closed this year.
Oh, they did? No more Gap?
So no more Gap.
Okay. Yeah. And so actually there was an article earlier before, and we're talking about this because I want you to understand that it's not just happening in the USA, it's happening all around the world. And Trump is making it worse. And so you have this combination of, and let's just say this, we saw this kind of stuff in the 1930s Germany. When people start to struggle, they look for like a savior kind of figure or someone to blame. It depends how you want to phrase it. And so now we're seeing a rise of sort of like the Trump Musk, and then now it's like YouTube podcaster sort of conspiracy theory kind of stuff. We saw a similar thing in Korea. Do you know about with the Yoon stuff?
Yeah, Yoon stuff is the same as USA. Who's supporting them? They're just spreading conspiracy stuff.
Right.
You're part of China, but what are you talking? You have no evidence that they just whatever they want to say.
Yeah. So basically, the Yoon party, if anyone says against Yoon, this is the Yoon party.
You're not Korean, you're Chinese.
Yeah, they'll say this kind of just weird crap like that with no evidence. And it's very similar to the Trump thing. Actually, it's kind of interesting, talking about my last video, but I didn't tell you. So do you remember there was the 3 planes that were sent to Venezuela?
Oh, yeah.
And there's Venezuelans on this thing. And the judge said, hey, you got to turn around. Yeah, and they just kind of ignored it, basically. So the judge actually talked to the lawyer and said, it's like really strong words. He's like, why did you sign this thing in the middle of the night? I think he said it in the dark. Why did you sign it in the dark?
Maybe off hour, right?
What's that?
Off the working hour.
Right. It was on a Friday. It was like Friday night, early Saturday morning. So why did you sign it in the dark, etc.? Did you not hear my order? Just turn around. The lawyer kind of just basically danced around because like if you ignore a judge, you're gonna just get lose your license, etc. Ultimately, then what's going on right now is very interesting. Is that they even asked Trump like, did you sign this thing? Trump in front of the reporter said, no, I didn't sign said thing. I don't even know other people did it. And then the White House, like his staff said, no, he actually did sign it. And literally we have the his signature. Like they basically just lie. They just lie. Either he's stupid or he lies. He knows. And so like that's the kind of environment that we're in. And so how do we deal with this stuff? And it's really a challenge. What's that?
We are not even USA. We are in Korea, but they already hurt our family. My sister loses VOA job, and she said, you know, her colleague is in Washington D.C., right?
Yeah.
And you know, the day they said close the VOA,
Mhm.
their colleague going to work, and
Mhm.
there is a like police line
Yeah.
in front of the door,
She
and
couldn't get in.
yeah, and the police there to stop them.
Yeah. So just imagine that, guys. Like you're going on your way to work, and you get there, and there's like you can't get into work.
Yeah.
You know, and then what they're going to say is like, oh, you know, you're not allowed in. Imagine, so one, you're shocked that you can't get into work, but also imagine if you have personal stuff in there.
Sure.
Any number of things that's like my office. I need to get my stuff or whatever. It's a really, really awkward situation. But the numbers that was given by NBC, 27% of Americans either themselves have been affected by or hurt, that's a better way to say it, hurt by Musk and Trump, or know someone has been hurt by Musk or Trump. I feel like the number should be higher, but I just tell you the numbers what it is.
Higher.
It's 27% right now.
Yeah.
But this is unfortunately very real. People are getting hurt by this stuff. And then whenever I do video, and I just want to mention, because I tell you about this stuff all the time, the Trump and Musk people, they always say the same stuff. So the first thing they'll say is, oh, well, those trans people are taking over the world. Like is that really an important issue to people? Is like, what are we talking about? And then the other one they always say, oh, but the dark people, illegal immigrants, that kind of stuff. They'll say those two issues.
You know, there's people look at the other points, you know, not the main issue.
It's really a 1930 Germany thing where you're just blaming a particular group of people. It's pretty ridiculous. So this is why it becomes important. Like when I mentioned before, here we're having an economic slowdown in Korea, mentioning the different stores, etc. You have to understand what's going on is that, again, you're having an economic slowdown all around the world, right? I'll give you a simple example. There was a big real estate meltdown in China, right? So basically, real estate just went up forever. And so, like, if it goes up forever, you're just like, well, I want to buy some.
Yeah,
you know?
And I want to build some.
Yeah, I want to buy some. I want to build some. If everyone seems to be making money, then you're like, well, I'm going to borrow money to buy some, build some, right?
Yeah.
But there comes a point where you just build too much and there's no buyers anymore, right? That's a bubble.
You still have your debt, a lot of debt.
Yep. So they didn't finish a lot of their real estate. They got a half-built stuff. People ran away with money. You have all sorts of claims going on. I'm sure you get the idea. It's a bubble. So if Chinese people don't have any money, they don't have any money to buy your American products, right? If Americans factories don't have any, anyone to sell to, do you think they're going to hire or fire?
Easy fire.
Right, but not everyone thinks about these things, right? It should be obvious, but for many Americans, they never think that there's a world outside of America.
Yeah.
No, it's a real thing. People around, I know, I'm trying to be nice about it, but I'm saying, like, you have to understand how we're all connected, okay?
Yeah, and you got fire, you don't have money, you don't buy products
yep.
like before.
And the cycle continues.
Cycle that stops, either slowing down.
Right. So what is happening right now, and this is where the real trick's going to be, once companies start reporting their earnings, that they're not making so much money so more, then rich people start to feel the pain. They're like, oh my God, my stocks are going down.
Yeah.
And so
but it's not really hurting their, assets. It's hurting their assets.
No, their assets are going down.
Yeah, assets going down, but it's not like we cannot afford the food.
Right.
It's not like that. It's a regular people, they have to leave.
Right. So
they have to go get eggs, but eggs too much.
Yeah, we can rent a chicken, right? There's that. So what's so crazy about and you can see it by what they do, right? I always say this all the time. Just look at what someone does. So lately, this whole week has all been about Musk, and Trump. They send that commerce guy. His name is Lutnick. He goes on TV and says buy Tesla stock, which is kind of ridiculous.
And like Trump, the Elon does like, oh, look at my spoon.
Yeah. He's on stuff. He's playing video games.
Yeah, like it was so awkward to see teenagers' behavior, like White House meeting, right?
But that's who these people are. Like I was trying to explain, like, understand our system, understand who these people are. They have no concerns about you. Then Musk calls an emergency meeting. The emergency is don't sell your stock. Right? It's kind of ridiculous.
And buy our Tesla.
Yeah, buy. Like, it's such an emergency, right? But that's the disconnect of the Trumps and Musk. And I know for many people out there, people write in comments, they'll say, whenever they try to have a conversation with like family or friends who like Trump and Musk, when they tell them the truth, they get like kind of in fight, they get angry, but there's not much more that you can do than tell the truth. And when the number gets higher, that people get hurt by Trump and Musk, they'll start to come around. This weekend, AOC and Bernie like did a partnership and are giving speeches all over, and they're getting like Obama type of number turnout. So there's definitely a need for these, you know, kind of people to tell you the truth on this stuff. There's also hopefully the pendulum. We say pendulum, like the thing that swings back and forth, will swing back in the other direction, and you know, and we can have like more sane conversations about any number of things. You know, I don't want to spend all day every day arguing about trans stuff. It's just not something that's like the top of my list. My opinion is, if someone wants to do whatever they want to do.
Doesn't hurt me, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Do what you do.
Do what you do, right? The thing that is really the most concerning, guys, and I'll just repeat it over and over again, I think public education is a good thing. I think public transportation is a good thing. Public health care is a good thing. I just want you guys to have healthy food, healthy children, good place to go to school, this kind of stuff. It's not crazy stuff. And then Musk and Trump, just understand that what their priorities are is cut people who collect taxes so then they can cheat taxes. Cut people who manage stock market so they can cheat on their stock market, right? They want to like cut people who protect the environment so they can like dirty the environment.
Yeah, like, when you think about going to Mars.
Yeah, and make sure that their stock gets boosted. That's their priorities. And if you ever listen to any of the stuff they talk, that's all they ever talk about. They're all going to get rich, and they're not actually talking about you. They're talking about them and their buddies. Yeah. And so it's ridiculous for anyone in the 99% to think that any way that Trump or Musk care about you. And again, all they ever do is say, "Oh, we're going to protect you from the trans people," as if there's this like, you know, big group of trans people that are going to, you know, do whatever. Yeah. So I just want you guys to see the lunacy of what we're dealing with. But I think when people lose their jobs due to Trump or Musk, or if they lose their Social Security, they'll realize who the real, you know, problem is. And also too, I want to make it really clear, it's part of the economic system is down, and people need someone to blame, and they're looking at Trump and Musk says you got to blame those people. And I'm saying a couple combination of things is look for people who are offering you real solutions, tell you what the real problem is, and your life will be better. So anyway, that's all we have. Please, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you all next time. So bye.